Metazoo teased us with new spoilers for Native, but the real question is, do you know who all of them are? Welcome back to Cryptid Theory, where I use the cards and illustrations of Metazoo to try to figure out the storyline and lore. My name is Turmentic, and today we are going to be covering two different spoilers that Metazoo released over the last couple days. The first one is this image right here with these three beasties. I was able to figure out who the third one is, and on top of that I want to talk also about Ravenmocker towards the end, so let's just get right onto it. The first one I want to talk about is Nanook. Now, Nanook in the Inuit religion was the master or king of bears. He was the one that decided whether the hunter deserved success in finding and hunting a bear, or if they were supposed to be punished for violations of taboos. Now, the Inuit believed Nanook was powerful and mighty. They thought he was almost man. They worshipped him because, like I said, they thought he was the one that decided if a hunt was successful. Now, the Inuit would eat the bear meat and they would use the fur for clothing and boots. That's one of the main reasons they would actually hunt polar bears. But once the polar bear was actually hunted, the hunter was then required to be respectful of the bear. Respect was given by the hunter by hanging the bear hide in a special location in their igloo, and it would stay there for several days. They would also offer the bear's spirit hunting tools and weapons if it was male, and if it was female, needle cases, scrapers, and knives. Now, the reason why these things were actually offered to the bear's spirit is the Inuit believed that the polar bear allowed themselves to be killed to obtain the souls of these specific tools, which they would then take to them with to the afterlife. Legend states if the dead bear was treated properly by the hunter, they would share the news with other bears so that they would be eager to be killed by that hunter, but it would warn other bears to stay away if they were not respected. Now, what was actually really cool to me when I was looking up all of the info about Nanook was that it reminded me of one of my favorite bears in all books, Yorick Bernenson, the armored bear from the Golden Compass trilogy. A lot of the traits that the armored bears had in Golden Compass were very similar to what Nanook had, so I'm wondering if the author of the Golden Compass took some of the ideas of Nanook in order to create those armored bears. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Hino. He is the one that's over to the left of that image right there. He is the thunder spirit of the Iroquois and the Seneca people. He also has many different names, Hino, Hino, Hinu, and Hinun. Tons of different names for this guy right here. Hino lives in the cloud of the far west with his wife Rainbow. He is accompanied by two eagle companions, Kinu, which is a golden eagle, and Ashadagea, which carries a lake of dew on its back, which it sprinkles as rain after fire spirits attack the land. I thought that was really interesting. Hino is armed with a bow and arrow, and he carries a pouch of thunderbolts. When he's in the sky traveling, he carries a basket of chert boulders. Now, chert boulders are interesting. They were traditionally used for the construction of stone tools. And interestingly enough, also, most chert is composed of petrified remains, mostly found in the oceans, which huge swaths of the American Midwest, the American West itself, used to be a prehistoric ocean. So it's really interesting about the chert boulders, I thought. Now, as he was flying, he would hurl these chert boulders at evil spirits in order to try to defeat them. The ones that miss the spirits, they fell to earth in the form of lightning. He wears a magical feather in his hand to ward off evil. And he has two assistants that have no name, so they can serve him in secret. Now, I thought that was really cool. He's described as peaceful and benevolent, being the enemy of witches and evil persons. He is a friend to corn, squash, and beans, which is really interesting because that ties into the last theory video I did, that corn is the key. Because remember, corn, squash, and beans were the three sisters. He was also thought to form clouds and give water to the earth. Now, there are two instances that I found of him actually descending down to earth from the cloud of the far west. The first time was when he came down to actually save Gunodayak. He is a young hero who was serving Hino and empowered with the spirit of thunder. He was commanded to kill the great water snake of the Great Lakes. This was an enemy of mankind, but Gunodayak was swallowed by the serpent. Hino slayed the serpent at Lake Ontario with his flaming arrow shot from the sky. He then cut open the beast to rescue his follower and resurrected Gunodayak because Gunodayak had actually died inside of the snake, taking him up to heaven afterwards. The body of the serpent was then broken up into the islands of the Great Lakes, and the tribes actually believed that the violent waves that Lake Ontario created was because of the serpent moving inside of that lake. Now, the second time Hino came down to Earth was to save his people from the stone giants, or the Ginosqua. After the battle, the giants' bodies actually shattered into pebbles. These stone giants, they're really, really big in the Iroquois legends about actually existing, and they would steal people. They would go and actually grab people and run away with them. They were cannibals, and so Hino came down apparently in order to save them. And like I said, once he defeated them, their bodies actually turned and shattered into these small pebbles. He is also the leader of the Thunders, which is a mythical family of beings, if you will, with him actually being the eldest brother. And he also is credited with sending down 3 Thunderers to Earth each year to destroy evil. Hino honestly sounds like a really big deal when it comes to Native, so I'm really interested to see how his lore is developed with the storyline and how exactly he is presented in the new set Native. Now, the last one I want to talk about is the one that you see right there with the skeleton. We wasn't sure what the name was. There isn't much information about it, but I thought it was actually kind of interesting. This is called Akayini. It is the skeleton spirit of Inuit folklore. It is said to be the ghost of Alaska, the native land of the Inuit. It causes tidal waves and earthquakes by moving his arms. When he was alive, he reportedly was always dancing and playing music. In death, he uses his arm bone as a drumstick and his scapula as a drum. He created music and danced a jig that would cause the ground to shake, and it would also cause waves as well, and it would overturn boats just by his gleeful, happy dancing and singing. I was able to actually figure out what the flavor text said on the card as well, and it reads, "He is the ghost of Alaska, always playing music, dancing and causing waves and earthquakes on the physical world." So that's awesome because it's a direct tie to his lore that, yes, he is the spirit of Alaska, yes, he is deceased, but what he plays and with the music that he actually creates, wherever he is, resonates and actually affects the physical real world. So I thought that was really cool. Again, that guy is named Akayini. Now, this next one is one that I've been really excited to actually cover. It is a huge thing in Native American lore, and that is Ravenmocker. Now, we first saw a little glimpse of Ravenmocker in UFO on one of the Terras, which I'm showing you right now, but that was it. We haven't seen anything else. And then they drop another tease, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and boom, there we actually see the Ravenmocker card. We don't see all of it, unfortunately, but we know for a fact Ravenmocker is in Native. Now, Ravenmocker is an evil spirit and the most feared of Cherokee witches. According to mythology, the Ravenmocker robs the sick and dying of their hearts. Normally they would appear as an old withered man or woman, but they can kind of look almost however they want, and they can also turn invisible. They take to the air with their arms as feathered wings with sparks coming off from behind. Now, after tormenting and killing their victim by slitting the victim's head, they consume the heart, not leaving a mark on the body at all. By eating the heart, they can gain a year to their life that the slain victim would have had if they would have actually lived. Very similar, if you will, to the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who that actually send somebody back in time and then feed off of the potential lifespan that they would have had. It's the same thing with Ravenmocker, except Ravenmocker actually eats the heart of the victim. Now, what's frightening about the Ravenmocker is that if someone hears the cry of the Ravenmocker, someone around them will actually die soon. Like I said, they are usually invisible, but a strong medicine man or woman can actually see the creature for what it truly is, and that terrifies Ravenmocker. Now, the reason why that terrifies Ravenmocker is not only can it actually be seen for what it is, but recognition that it is an actual Ravenmocker by a medicine man or woman causes the beast to actually die within 7 days. As far as I'm aware, that's probably the only way I think you can actually slay a Ravenmocker is by having a powerful medicine man or woman recognized for what it really is. Now, medicine men and women will also stand over a dying person or a sick person to prevent Ravenmocker from coming in and actually stealing their heart. Because a lot of times from some of the stories I was reading, the Ravenmocker would come in, of course, invisible, and the person would start thrashing around like, oh, they were sick. People would actually think maybe they're having a seizure or something, but in actuality what it was Ravenmocker actually stealing the victim's heart in order to gain that victim's lifespan. Now, Ravenmocker is also the envy of every single other Cherokee witch in the mythology, and when a Ravenmocker dies, though, the other witches in Cherokee legends will dig it up and abuse the corpse. I'm not sure exactly what that meant, that's just all it says, will abuse the corpse, since all the other witches are fearful of the Ravenmocker because of how powerful it is, and then, like I said, they're also envious of Ravenmockers, so they defile the corpse, if you will. This is another one I'm really interested to see how the lore ties in with Metazoo overall. Again, and because we were teased of Ravenmacher back in UFO with just the silhouette. So I think Ravenmacher might actually have a very big role, if you will, in the storyline of Native. I mean, it has a really big role in Native American lore as it is right now, so I'm really interested to actually see how it ties in, like I said, with the overall Metazoo story. So now that we actually know some of the lore behind Ravenmacher, let's actually look at the new Ravenmacher card coming out in the Native set here in just a couple months. First thing that comes to my mind when I first saw this card was the sky. The sky looks ridiculously ominous. I love it. The purple on Ravenmacher itself actually just makes it pop. And I love the fact that Ravenmacher is standing on a pile of bones. Now the card tells us that it's attributed to the Cherokee. It says the GPS is Linville Gorge, North Carolina. It has a weight of 89 kilograms or 196 pounds and a height of 2.2 meters or 7 feet 2 inches. This thing is super, super tall. Now the location of Linville Gorge is interesting because yes, that was Cherokee land, but I couldn't find anything that was specific to Ravenmacher tying it to Linville Gorge, except for there was a 2007 film called They Hunger. And the antagonists inside of that film, the creatures inside of that film, were very Ravenmacher-esque. And so it's kind of cool little nod to that film. But again, Linville Gorge was Cherokee land, so it could have existed in that spot, and most likely, according to the Cherokee, it did. Looking at the abilities this thing has, I'm extremely not only impressed but excited because they all seem to fit the exact lore of Ravenmacher. The first one is you can contract it at any time as long as you actually caw, which is very interesting because like we were talking about, if you hear the caw of a Ravenmacher, somebody is going to die in the vicinity. The next one is any beastie that's supposed to go to the limbo or the cemetery instead go to the afterlife, which is a complete nod to the lore because again, Ravenmacher would eat the heart of its victim, gaining all of the essence that that person had, the time left that they actually would have on Earth living, and so they're immediately just boom, exiled, which is the afterlife. Love that little tidbit. The name of the attack even is amazing in my opinion, Hearts of the Damned, because that's a total nod to the lore of the Ravenmacher eating the hearts of its victims, especially since each beastie that's inside of the afterlife gives Ravenmacher plus 15 attack. That's awesome. I love that. It's super powerful too. Now looking over at the flavor text as well, it says, "These witching spirits steal the heart of those who are most vulnerable. They are master disguisers, visible only to those with powerful medicine." Again, people with powerful medicine men, medicine women, they're the only ones that could actually see Ravenmacher, and they were the only ones that could actually exterminate it, if you will. Again, remember, the Ravenmacher would be recognized by a medicine man or a woman, someone who was strong with medicine, and after that, the Ravenmacher would have 7 days before it actually would perish. Now, I'm super excited to finally see this card. This is a card that we have been asking for well over a year. Special thanks to Andy over at Metazoo for sending me this. This is amazing. It was awesome. I love that we're actually starting to see some of the beasties, like I said, that we've been asking for, wanting to see for the last year. And Ravenmacher is one of the biggest ones I can think of. So to recap, in today's theory, we covered Nanook and his backstory, Hino and some of his backstory. We discovered that the one beastie that was not named is actually Akayini, and then we also talked a little bit about Ravenmacher and why he is so terrifying. But my name is Turmentic. Thanks so much for checking out the lore video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are, if there's anything else that you would like to add. I know that Metazoo just released all of the product information, all of the different SKUs for Native, so expect some breakdown videos of exactly who those are. I'm really excited about Skinwalkers. I'm excited about Seven Maidens. There's a lot of really good lore that they just released pretty much the other day because of all the pictures of all the different products. But again, like I said, my name is Turmentic. I hope you enjoyed all of the little tidbits of lore for today, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful evening.